Mayor Fulop hosted his third annual Prisoner Reentry Conference at St. Peter's University at McMahon Hall. Governor Christie joins Jim McGreevey to talk about bail reform, expungement, and other crucial pillars that will give second chances in life.
Ban the Box was part of this entire bail reform proposal, was to say, let's really get at what the roots of crime and the problems are. If I don't want New Jersey to be a debtor's prison, where just because you're poor and you commit a criminal act that otherwise would not land you in jail, that you wind up having to spend months in jail because you or your family don't have the cash to be able to post bond. So let's evaluate that person based on risk and give the judge the opportunity to be able to let that person out on their own recognizance without any cash, and to set up a monitoring system to keep an eye on that person. That's what we do in the federal system. It's what we're going to do in the state system. But on the flip side, to make our streets safer, to say that for those people who have a long rap sheet of violent crime, those people should not get bail. And they don't get bail in the federal system. We want our streets to be safe. Let's keep the violent predators off the streets. Let's not fill our jail cells with folks who are only there because they're poor. We also need to make sure that the people that we let out of jail, we let out of jail due to failure and get back. And so if there are needs and services that are identified during the process of processing them through the criminal system, that we need to try to make sure that we make some of those services available to them so that they don't wind up just turning around and getting in trouble again if we can avoid it. Bail reform was a very, very important part. And the last part, as I said, was ban the box, because if we're going to have successful reentry, people have to get to work. And I certainly don't want employers not to have full information on what they need about people that they're going to employ. But if it's set up front as opposed to on the back end, you probably never meet the person, never talk to them, never get to know them. Once you have that interview process, if you decide to extend the offer for a job, the legislation that Senator Cunningham sponsored and that I signed says, of course employers have a right to information so they know who they're employing. But it was acting as a bar to employment rather than as a screen. It was a steel door stopping it rather than a screen. And so now they've got screening on the back end, but oftentimes when you get to know a person, that's the person you're willing to take a chance on. And we need people to be willing to give second chances on the employment side as well as on the addiction side. And so it was one of the reasons I went to Aero Farms today, was not only put a spotlight on the fact that they're growing in New Jersey and creating more jobs, and they have 60 employees today, they're adding another 80 jobs when they open their next facility, but the fact that a third of their employees are folks who have had problems with the law and have a record, will tell you that there are employers out there who are willing to open their hearts and give people another chance. But you're right, folks like you and I and others have to talk even more about it. What I want to do with expungement is not just to look at one piece or another of it. If you ban the box, all these things logically go together.
Yes.
But let's not do it so that one set of people get a chance at expungement, but others don't. And if there are certain people and certain types of crimes that shouldn't be subject to expungement, then we need to be clear about that. So we need to have a full conversation about it. I'm ready to do it. I think this is something that could be done between now and June.
Could you talk a little bit about what you're doing at Fort Dick?
Well, listen, Mid-State Correctional Facility was a facility that we've closed. And one of the reasons we've been able to close it is because of the real drop in prison population we've had in New Jersey, based upon all the different things we're talking about, that people, first-time nonviolent drug offenders, no longer go to prison in New Jersey. They go to mandatory treatment.
Tell me, has that been a success? Are you happy with it?
An enormous success, and we're seeing recidivism rates drop in double digits for the people who go through the program. The drug court program in this state, which by the end of this year will be expanded to the entire state, is something that we're enormously proud of. And it diverts people out of the normal justice system, gets them into treatment, gets them into detox, and gets them on the road to recovery. And I quite frankly don't feel as if, especially for the nonviolent folks, they need to serve time in prison. They need to get their lives in order. And so it's allowed that prison to close. And what the commissioner and I have decided to do is that Mid-State is being renovated and will reopen as a fully certified drug treatment facility. And it's again part of our philosophy, which is this is a disease. And if someone turns up with cancer in state prison, we get them treatment. If they turn up with heart disease in prison, we treat them. But if they turn up with drug and alcohol problem, at that disease, we don't. It's illogical, and it leads to greater recidivism and death, and the breaking up of families, and we shouldn't be doing it. And so that's why I'm really proud we're going to do that in mid-state, and we hope by next year, 2017, the renovation, because it's a pretty significant renovation to turn it into that kind of facility, but Corrections is working hard on it, and I think by next year, we'll have it open and ready to receive prisoner patients.
There was a 28-day prohibition on accessing welfare, general assistance, and you waived that for people that are in our program. And the real problem is that people would come out of prison, they'd have to wait 28 days to get services or to get benefits, and we'd lose them in that 28-day period.
And this is not a game of gotcha. So why not have the NVC fully share all that information? We're not looking to get people in trouble. We're looking to get them out of trouble and get them back on the road to recovery and to responsible citizenship, because then they get deployed. Then they pay taxes and they support families. And families who are on general assistance come off general assistance. Families who are on food stamps get off food stamps. Families that were dependent upon the government become supportive of the government. And those are things we should all be trying to achieve, and playing these little gotcha games don't make any sense to me, and that's why we have, we keep trying to stop doing it. If you got other things that we're doing that we shouldn't be doing, tell McGreevy. He has my number.
I'm Jeanette Josu, Hudson County View, the eye of the community.